Shalom, or praise to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles at GreatMillStone. I got an advert right here. I'm going to play it. Pretty much it's of a super being from another realm coming in a spaceship to Earth. And Esau mocks, like again, Esau's mocking the scriptures, man. Now, you look on the screen, they're clearly trying to make this look like some kind of Jake or something. And, you know, but anyway, I'm going to play the clip, man. Because Esau's just trying to mock the scriptures, you know. So I'm going to show you something now. So as you've seen, you had this outer space being come down, invade the Earth, you know, in all this power and all that, and everyone, it was broadcasted on the news, and you know, everybody seen it like the scriptures said, you know, which is how the Lord's coming, man. You know, UFO sightings, which we know the chariots of Israel. And as you can see, he's coming out of the ship, right? He looks all mighty and power. Now look, this is something Edomites should do. You know, see, the scriptures talks about Esau, man. The Lord hates Esau. That's why he wastes his cities. Everything Esau does is against righteousness. His whole society is against the Bible. There you go. So anyway, like I said, man, you know, all this mocking that Esau's doing, you notice that the being was speaking a different language, so obviously it would be Hebrew, man. You know, language you couldn't understand, you know, raw language. And you know, like I said, man, let me get a quick couple of scriptures out, man, to show you something. Revelations, the 1st chapter, and 1 and 7. It says, "Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him." Who's coming with clouds? Revelation 1 and 1, the revelation of Yahweh Shai. Okay, so Yahweh Shai is going to be the one coming with them clouds. It says, "Behold, he coming with clouds," and the clouds represents the chariots, the so-called UFOs. "And every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him." Because Yahweh Shai is going to come from another dimension. And just like it was shown you in this advert, he was up on the TV, everybody, you know, was protesting, everybody seen. So Esau, like, these top elites, you know, they're aware of the space invasion that's going to come from the Lord. And pretty much what they're doing, they've got, you know, Trump was talking about a space force. You know, a lot of these nations are scared, you know. So a lot of these nations are scared, man. And pretty much what's going down is that, you know, Esau's mocking these things, man. But we know, according to the scriptures, you're going to get zapped. Now, I'm going to just keep this as a quick video because I'm just trying to home in on the point of Esau mocking. See, when it goes down in that day, it ain't going to be going down like this, man. You know, matter of fact, I was going to read this, a bit of this. This is 2nd Esdras 13. And I'll start from 5. "And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a great multitude of men out of number from the 4 winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea." So the army and all that are going to try and fight the Lord when he comes out of the atmosphere with the chariots. It says, "Behold, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region or place where the hill was graven, and I could not." And that great mountain represents the spaceship, because it's so big. "And after this I beheld, and lo, and all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet this fight, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire. So they're going to get zapped by them chariot lasers. And like I said, man, Esau, like I said, they kind of tried to make him look like some kind of deformed Jake, or terrible looking Jake, because the angels look terrible anyway. And you know, he's dark skinned, so they're just taking the piss. Well, in that day, we just read what's really gonna happen. You're making all these jokes, but guess what? In that day, man, there ain't gonna be no jokes to be made, because you're gonna be getting zapped. Okay. You can't tell me that they ain't tried to make these look like so-called Negroes. You know, some crazy looking. So every eye shall see him. They interrupt all the transmissions, and then he's speaking in some heavenly type of tongue. So I'm just basically, this is just an advert, but see, this goes back to Esau's getting this from the scriptures. Okay. Like when Yahweh Shai spoke to Paul, he said what? He spoke in like the Hebrew tongue. That's the language of the heavens. You didn't spoke to him in Greek. Okay. So everyone's all messed up in the spirit, you know. Look at them. And that's what it's going to be in that day, man. There was eating and drinking and giving in marriage and all that. And then the Lord's going to crack them skies, man. You see, you got the newspaper, flying saucer sighting. See, so people know that this is real, man. There's one that says Army spot UFO over Yorkshire. So these things are real. You got websites dedicated to this. England, all over the world, America, all over the world. All over the world, man. This particular adverts, the British adverts. So you got sightings going on all over. Flying saucer sighting here and there. You know, so people know these things are real. So the armies all come in there, and it looks like pretty much like martial law set up. And them highways, you know, that they were used really for the motorway for the army to use their vehicles up and down, you know, to be used. Then you got those political protests. No one is illegal, you know, because pretty much Esau's looking at the angels or the outer space beings as if you're not, you know, that you know, he calls Mexicans illegal aliens. You know, he calls the people, the beings you don't know from space, he calls them aliens. So anything that's not of Esau, he calls it alien. Which the word alien just means a stranger. You know. Right, so you see how all the military men were there, and that's going into that scripture where it says that they came to subdue the man. But it says, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one. And this is going to happen. You know, all these stupid adverts that Esau really feared the Lord. He wouldn't be making stupid adverts like this, bro. You know, this is childish, bro. It's childish. It's stupid. We're dealing with real serious life and death matters of life. And all he can do is make some stupid, childish adverts. You're childish as hell, man. You know? And fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that a sudden of innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So even Esdras got afraid at seeing these things, because this is going to be one hell of an event. Akyam, you know what I mean? This is going to be the event, man. Yahweh Shai coming in just a mega ship. Oh my, that is just one hell of an event. So all these adverts mocking the scriptures, and you're in for one, man. All you people on the planet, this is going to be the judgment for everybody on the planet, man. And the people that are going to be saved are the elect. So there ain't no one that's why the scripture says every eye shall see him. This ain't just something that, oh, them Hebrews are just speaking of in the corner. No, this we're telling you what God's saying. We're telling you what Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is telling you, man. We're telling you what the Most High and what through the Holy Spirit is teaching, man, and showing you what's about to happen. Okay? Because the Lord's getting ready to open up. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.